Let's get settled. Your comments are welcome via social media platforms because we are streaming live on our platform. This afternoon, let's start off from the office of the Electoral Commission because the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, is in a meeting with the Electoral Commission over its concerns with the voters register following what the party says are discrepancies discovered during the exhibition last month. The party had raised concerns about the delay in providing the register to them ahead of the exercise. The EC has always maintained the role is credible.
The MPP does, NDC does, is that NDC has taken it further to also have a team that scrutinizes the processes and draw the attention of the Electoral Commission that, look, these are the differences we are having. How do we resolve it? And the Electoral Commission made a press statement to corroborate what the NDC has said and have also identified steps they are putting in place to resolve. That's the beauty of the electoral process. But if the NDC saw it and they decided to take it as a trump card, they will not reveal to anybody, but they will act on it, then that would have been difficult for us to have a resolution. Conflict and violence could be resolved when you know the challenge of parties. So I thank the NDC for always making their what they identify on the process public and demanding answers from the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission also resolving to provide antidote to whatever challenge they come up with. So the electoral process comes with electoral register compilation come in processes, compilation of the register, exhibition, and correction of the system. So this is one of the processes I think the Electoral Commission will adopt to make sure that it pages the register to have correct data ahead of the election.
And from the perspective of CODEO, is everything okay? What key issues would you want to address before the election?
No, so in electoral processes, we can't have everything 100% okay, as I said. But the readiness of the stakeholders to resolve the challenges identified, it's what makes the process move forward. So yes, we've identified the challenges. The challenge itself, we are not happy that there's a challenge, but we are happy that there are steps in place to resolve it. Yeah, so the challenge was that there were discrepancies in the data, in the register, as compared to what the Electoral Commission gave and what the NDC also had. The Electoral Commission provided answer that there was a mistake on compiling previous transfer data and added it to what we have here. And because the challenge has been identified, they are going to page the register, and after they do the corrections on all identified challenges through the exhibition, we'll have a clear register.
Have you notified as CODEO?
No, CODEO also has our resource. I was just reading the exhibition reports, and it highlighted some of these challenges. But in all these challenges that we highlight, they are not challenges that are infinite. They are not challenges that cannot be resolved. They are challenges, so that's why I said it's one thing identifying the challenges, and one thing presenting the challenge to the authority, appropriate authority to resolve, and one thing for the authority to accept to resolve it. So I'm happy that the challenges have been identified. That's first point, and I'm also happy that the Electoral Commission has accepted responsibility and provided some avenues or the steps that is taken to resolve the challenges. My message in Ghana is that elections come with challenges. We are not perfect in democracy as it is, but we will be perfect when together we lend credence and support to the institutions in charge to come up with the challenges and support them to implement a violent-free and credible election. So I ask all stakeholders to have confidence and trust in the institutions, working be it the police administration, the Electoral Commission, every institution that have duty to play on the electoral rule, we should give them the support. When we identify any challenges, we shouldn't take it as a manipulation. We should take it as a genuine mistake that when presented before the authority, they can resolve it. With that, we can move forward as a country.
So that was the head of programs with CODEO Ghana, Paul Mensah Brampa, also alluding to the fact that there are issues with the voters register that require some attention. The reason why the NDC wrote to the Electoral Commission, and this meeting is happening right now at the office of the Electoral Commission, to come to some understanding on the way forward for the voters register. That will be the basis upon which voters can go through and vote in December. So what really is happening at the headquarters of the East? Let me take you live there, because my colleague James Aveji is there for Joy News, and he joins me via, here for us to have this discussion. So James, what is happening now?
Elton, as we speak, the two parties, which is the National Democratic Congress as well as the Electoral Commission, are locked up in that meeting about an hour ago. As at 1:50, 1:55, the Director of Elections for the NDC, Dr. Manibuam, as well as Dr. Tanko Computer, arrived here and made their way into the EC building. And as you know, the EC did not grant the presence of the media or in the live telecast that the NDC requested earlier. And so we have been prevented access into the premises or that meeting. But as we speak, the meeting is currently underway, an hour into that meeting. It is unclear when they would be closing or come to a consensus in that meeting and part ways with each other and what the agreement would be. But thankfully, we've been getting some insight into what exactly the demands of the NDC is. We know that earlier there is some key concerns, for instance, about the illegal transfer of voters from one constituency to the other. They made mention of the transfer of some 38 voters from Tamale South as well as Sagnerugu constituencies to Posiga. They also made the issue concern about how some disqualified voters. We know that during the registration process, the Electoral Commission, a party agent as well as any Ghanaian individual could contest the eligibility of someone who's registered to vote. Either the person is not a Ghanaian or he or she is not up to 18, the mandated age to register and vote in an election. The NDC says some voters' eligibility have been contested during the exhibition as well as the voting, the registration period. They were hoping that the EC would take those names off the voter register, but during the exhibition, those names were still on the voter register. And the third issue was about how some persons who have not actually registered to be special voters have found their names into the special voter register. And so those are the key issues they were raising, compounding to the irregularities they've been talking about before they went into that meeting, LT.
And this statement or this information that you have, that we understand, is what the NDC is presenting to the Electoral Commission at this very important meeting. Do they give recommendations as to how this matter should be resolved?
Okay, Elton, so what I just shared with you as what we know before they went into the meeting. But we're just getting some info about the exact presentations they'll be making to the EC. For instance, they start with the fact that, they raise concerns about how the EC has been responding to their position, painting the picture that these are not issues to be of grave concern to the Electoral Commission, the political parties, as well as the ordinary voter. The NDC in that meeting is expected to take a strong opposition or rejection to that. Again, they raised the issue about the delayed release. They'll be raising issue, about the delayed release of the provisional voter register. You remember that before the exhibition exercise started, the NDC has been drumming home the fact that they needed to get the register at least a week or two before the exercise starts so that they look at it and go into the exhibition, know exactly what to expect. But we know I'm sure it was about a night or a day or two to the exhibition exercise before they were given that. They expected to raise objection or establish their displeasure about that. Another key issue they expected to raise is the excuses that the EC gave justifying the eligibility of the voter register. You remember the EC issued some 2 press releases. At the time, the NDC's concerns were raging about the irregularities. They say that as far as the Electoral Commission is concerned, they have a credible provisional voter register, and then followed by a subsequent release which talk about the fact that it is because of some of these irregularities that they are doing the exhibition so that this will be corrected.
Right.
The NDC is taking strong exception to those two positions raised. Based on this, they are saying that as we speak, the EC is finding it difficult to actually even justify the voter register they have. They say that as we speak, the EC has instituted some verification exercise across the regions and the districts. They provided some intercepted memo between the headquarters of the EC as well as the district and the regional offices. Let me take you through some of the key issues. The NDC says the EC is directing their regional and district officers to undertake in that. They say that, quote, the commission has directed that we account for each voter on the transfer list. This would enable us to track the differences in the transfer figures. Regional directors should take note of the following and direct the DEOs, the district electoral officers, to go accordingly. One, that document containing all the details of 2024 transfer voters for each region have been provided below as a guide. It shows details of transferred voters in each district. That DEOs should use the list of the transferred voters recorded at the district level to cross-check the one provided by the Electoral Commission head office, which means that the EC has sent figures of the registered voters they have at the headquarters of all the districts. They have sent those back to the district for the district officers to cross-check the numbers and see if they are just as it is or there are differences. Two, the DEOs should use the list of transferred voters recorded at the district level to cross-check that, and they should use the template provided to record the details of all transferred voters on the list from HQ that were not captured at the district level. If the district level finds any name at their point, which is not on the AC headquarters list given, they would have to provide those details back to the Electoral Commission headquarters for action to be taken care of. And that memo, according to the NDC, was issued from the headquarters on the 1st of September, some 5-6 days ago, to the regional as well as district offices. The NDC is saying that based on this, the steps the EC is taking, they are rest assured that it justifies their positions that there are one, irregularities, and two, the EC itself is struggling to authenticate the exact number of registered voters we have and the illegibility of them, for which reason they have instituted these internal measures to clean up the figures. Now, the NDC is taking a position that for these matters to be laid to rest, they are demanding a forensic investigation into the current provisional voter register that we have now. They say that the forensic examination must go all the way to audit the exact number of voters we have on the register. Given the EC's admission of the mistakes, an independent forensic audit should be conducted. It must go to the extent of establishing the level of manipulation the voter register has gone through. We heard about the fact that some persons have been arrested with some BVR machines in different locations across the country. We heard of the eastern region, we heard of the central region as well.
Right, James. So
the forensic investigation, according to the NDC, must establish the extent of manipulation, to the system vulnerability of the Electoral Commission's voter roll as we move into the 2024 election. They say that when that is established, then every party to the elections, both the political parties, the CSOs, as well as the Electoral Commission, can come to a consensus on how they can agreeably tackle these situations and find answers to them. And that the Electoral Commission must come out with timely provisional register and a time frame in which all of this problem should be taken care of. And so, as far as we are concerned with the ears on the ground, this is a position they are going into that meeting with. Key is that there must be a forensic audit into the voter register. The EC must account, as they have always been saying, for the BVR, especially at the back of the arrests we have had from various parts of the country. So, Elton, those are the key issues they have been putting, will be putting to the EC as far as that discussion is concerned.
Right, James, thank you so much, but don't go yet because, I mean, they are making some serious demands in here, and this meeting is ongoing. They are also talking about impact of the mistakes on the elections. They are asking what is the potential impact of the admitted mistakes and errors by the Electoral Commission on the fairness of the upcoming elections. Will the mistakes compromise the integrity of the election results? Historical comparison. The EC says that they admitted in mistakes by referencing errors made by past commission. How does this comparison help address the current concerns? There's also timeline for correction. And these, the NDC believe that answering these questions through an independent forensic audit are essential for safeguarding the credibility of Ghana's electoral process and ensuring that the upcoming election reflect the true will of the suffering people of this country. Remember that the Electoral Commission held a news conference on Monday ahead of this meeting and then addressed some of the concerns that had been raised by the NDC, for example. Let's take a listen to what the EC Deputy Director said, Dr. Bosman Asare, and then we'll speak to the NDC as they engage the EC more on this very important subject.
Just after the Electoral Commission concluded a one-week voter exhibition exercise, the National Democratic Congress was up in arms. They insisted that the names of some voters had been transferred illegally and deliberately to favor the New Patriotic Party. In a Jumaku Enyan Esiam in the Central Region, the NDC alleged that the EC secretly transferred 3,000 plus voters into the constituency's voter register. Deputy Commissioner at the EC, Dr. Bosman Asare, says it was an honest mistake.
In the preparations towards the 2024 exhibition exercise, the absent voters list and the transferred voters list inadvertently included all transfers that had been done since 2020 when this register was first prepared. This has resulted in a higher than expected number of absent and transferred voters. This understandably may have caused some anxiety to our stakeholders, as exemplified by the press conference addressed by the NDC in the Ejumaku Enyan Esiam constituency of the Central Region. The Commission has corrected this anomaly and will share with all the political parties the corrected absent and transferred voters list.
In the Upper East Region, the Commission says it has suspended the Pusiga District Electoral Officer after concluding preliminary investigations into the alleged voter transfer.
The voters involved in the Tamale South and Sangneregu constituencies incident have denied taking part in a transfer exercise. What they have alluded to is that their voter ID cards were collected by one Haruna Muniru, ostensibly for the processing of a loan. Preliminary investigations by the Commission have revealed that voter transfers were indeed effected for 38 individuals using the credentials of an Electoral Commission official. The Commission has suspended the Pusiga District Electoral Officer and has invited him to respond to the Commission's findings.
The Commission now says it has broadened its investigation to include all district electoral officers, fearing the issue may be widespread. They have also introduced fresh measures to ensure this does not happen again.
The Commission is currently investigating. While the Commission does not have any evidence to believe that this occurrence is widespread, we have instituted investigations to ascertain if similar incidents occurred elsewhere beyond the reported case in the Tamale South and Sagneregu constituencies. Any such transfers will be reversed. Following this incident, the Commission has introduced a liveliness check in the verification process, which is a feature designed to ensure that the biometric data being captured is from a live, present human being and not from a spoof source, such as photograph, which is what was done in this case. The liveliness check has since been built into the system to prevent any such future occurrence.
The Commission says, although the register is not foolproof, they insist that the voter register is credible and will always take steps to correct all anomalies. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
Well, so you're welcome back. Let me end with James Aveji, but we'll go back to him when this meeting is over, so we'll get to understand the position of the Electoral Commission vis-a-vis what the NDC has put before them. So, James, I'm curious, is the MPP represented in this meeting?
Elton, I have not seen any NPP rep when the NDC arrived to make their way into the building. We've been here at about 1:30 p.m. And so monitoring activities, even before the 2 o'clock, we only saw the NDC reps getting into the premises for that meeting. I have not seen any NPP official here this afternoon.
The other political parties?
The other political parties as well, I have not seen any, including Codeo. Unsure whether they might have made their way in there before our arrival. I do not know, but it is only the NDC that I can confirm that have made their way here and into that meeting. All
right, thank you very much, James Abaye. We'll come back to you as and when there's development on this issue at the office of the Electoral Commission. Let me bring in the Deputy General Secretary of the party, Mustafa Gbambe, who joins us via Zoom. So, Mustafa, your initial demand was for a live telecast you didn't get, but you've managed to put your concerns before the Electoral Commission, as we have been told. Why are these matters so necessary? The AC says that this is not the first time mistakes have been identified, and it happens a lot. And for that reason, meeting to discuss this thing should be a normal occurrence and not the one that should endanger some kind of a tension between the two.
Well, to cherish the sense. Indeed, it's important that political parties are, as partners, will be reasonable with the Electoral Commission in advancing the cause of transparency, credibility, a free and fair electoral process. It is also important to state that the Electoral Commission has a responsibility to demonstrate high level of credibility, high level of integrity, high level of trust to be able to win stakeholders to itself. This is the first time that the EC has admitted that a certain district director has illegally transferred people without the knowledge of the headquarters. This is the first time. This is the first time we have seen names of people who claim to have been transferred, but yet, of course, you cannot find where they transfer the data, their names from. Look, there are a lot of ghost names on the voter register, including the classical fundamental discrepancies, further and better particulars we are presenting to the Electoral Commission. For me, you don't need the head of a commissioner to telecast a program. And so I was even shocked why the Electoral Commission does not want to give the public that level of transparency, that level of inclusion. What we are demanding is not to favor the NDC. It is, of course, in the interest of holding an election that when you declare a winner, Kenyan will associate with that win and say it reflects the mandate of the people. What is it that the Electoral Commission is hiding when it doesn't want to play fair with the public? And of course, I will always state this. The silence, the surprising and shocking silence of the MPP leave the issues much to be desired. And I can tell you, Elton, that the register as we hold it today is not fit for purpose. It's a document that have been fraudulently, illegally, criminally manipulated, and is far away from any understanding that these are mere errors, these are mere mistakes, and that we are correcting it. If we have corrected it, let us then exhibit some sort of transparency for the people to re-exhibit the register so that they will verify their names. Then we can be sure. Let us audit the systems so that we are all sure that we are going into an election that is going to represent the will of the people. The MPP wants to break the eight, but they are running away when a discussion of an election is being held. I don't understand. And so, in all fairness, the NDC has nothing, no problem and no blood with the Electoral Commission, except that the current revelations demonstrate that the Electoral Commission has done away competence. The Electoral Commission has done away, we call mistakes, but there are actors within the commission who are criminally minded, who are conspiring, who who are doing everything possible to shortchange the people of Ghana by fraudulently mismanaging figures, fraudulently tampering with the register as we have. And that the nation must rally around the clarion call for us to ensure that we restore credibility, we restore reality, we restore what represent the real values of the voters' register ahead of the election.
The register as we have it today is not fit for purpose. Then you are virtually saying that we should do away with it and possibly have another register. Is that your position?
That is not the position of the NDC. We believe that the Electoral Commission have done a good job. We've been able to register people, so the operational part of it is done. We have brought the data to the headquarters. The manipulation happened at the headquarters. We should go back and reverse that. Once we reverse and we clean the register, we are good to go. This is the NDC's call. Now we even get to know, perhaps the audit that we are calling for will help us reveal quite more discrepancies that will help all of us to have a transparent process. Who knows? If we don't audit, how are you going to be sure that the Pusiga electoral director, many of them do not exist around the electoral headquarters? The Wale Wale election was recently nullified at the back of electoral irregularities. This same election was supervised by the Electoral Commission. So if even MPP, who is in government, in their own primaries, can occur such phantom irregularities that can nullify an election, then you can tell what is happening to a national election. In Yendi, an Electoral Commission officer, interfering with the electoral process. We having most of these people within the commission who are going to hold the election. So indeed, the headquarters may not be aware of what is happening. Until we audit the process, we cannot all conclude that the register is clean. When the NDC is the one holding the evidence because we have done a lot of work, the Electoral Commission have come to admit that some of the fundamental issues we have raised are true, except to say that they are mistakes. And we say that they are not mistakes, they are deliberate and intentional act. If the Electoral Commission admits that some of the complaints we are making are true and factual, then of course, can't we audit the process?
And who should lead this process of auditing?
This is not the first time we are doing an audit. An audit was done ahead of 2016 election. Same can be done, just to give credibility. And I believe that when we sit in an IPAC, of course, where in all fairness, political parties are represented, in a round-table conversation, we can have an independent audit into the process just to make sure that we go into an election devoid of chaos, devoid of rancor, devoid of suspicion. Ghanaians need peace because in the last 7 years, they have been entangled with high rate of corruption. They've been entangled with hardship. They have suffered and suffocated enough. A little we can do to help them is to go into a peaceful election, set up a new government that will run the affairs of this country. And I believe that it is in the interest of the EC, the MPP, the NDC, and the President of Ghana for a peaceful election to occur.
But we just have, 92 days to the elections, basically 3 months. Do we have enough time on our hands to undertake this very important exercise ahead of the elections?
I don't think that the kind of audit we are talking about is an accounting audit. But I so believe that, again, if we sit in a round table with a conversation of an audit, I'm sure that we'll be able to find out something that will help all of us. The most important emphasis is that the current Provisional Voters Register at its stand is a manipulated document, criminally centered around an intention to rig and compromise him to favor a political party. And that political party is the one that is silenced all this while. MPP silence just shows their accomplice in this widespread crime. This fraudulent, criminal, calculated, and intentional act of manipulating the elections register. MPP is a beneficiary of it.
My final question before I let you go, you are also making the demand that, considering the numerous transfer anomalies, you are asking what specific measures will the EC institute to ensure special voters, security personnel, media, and others are not disenfranchised during the special votes, and how can we be assured of the transparency of the special voting process? We're also saying that recruitment of collation officers, when returning officers exist, and implications, collation officers can send unlawful collated results to the regions for regional coalition. I mean, what is the relationship?
Yeah, the relationship is that when you have finished the voting and you are doing your coalition at the district level, the coalition officers, what will be their job? When we have returning officers, we need to be clear in terms of the roadmap, okay, so that we don't end up getting MPP, MPP people who are wearing MPP colors in singlets and wearing a smock representing coalition officers going to bring, illegal collated results into the system. All of these must be checked. The Electoral Commission has the responsibility to ensure that doubts are clarified.
All right.
Look, there's too much suspicion around the activities of the Electoral Commission. This is all because people have lost trust in the Electoral Commission. Most times we accuse the Electoral Commission, we find evidence that they are actually doing same. You see? So we must find a roadmap. What is the duty of a returning officer and what is the duty of a coalition officer? Did we have a new CI that ensures that we actually have coalition centers? If that is so, let's look at it. If that is not so, why are we talking about coalition officers here?
We wait for the outcome of the meeting. But thank you very much, Mustafa Ban, the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. And before we move away from the election headquarters, the countdown to the December 7th election is on, and parties are still aggressively campaigning either to take over the seat of government or to be maintained in power. The campaigns aren't without their funny moments. Prince Kwame Kuduga highlights some of them from the campaign trail in this report.
Which one is better, home used or brand new?
Minyanya president. Enti vote mamia. Mubenya brand new tier rubber president. Na omampenye da radia. Vote mamna. Na mwanya second hand failed president.
Na obise on the man obey tier rubber president. It is a president for. Na obinso yeto mana obey home second hand. I just used driver. You see, second hander. And now adidada ye penisa. We say adidada so and experience a womb.
Then the 24-hour economy policy of the NDC has been up for discussion.
Hospitality industry, our restaurants, our discotheques, our nightclubs, our hotels, 24/7, 24 hours a day.
Running mate to the flag bearer of the governing NPP, Dr. Matthew Puku-Prempeh, says he has a stronger reason why the policy is not feasible. Now the droughts in the northern regions have caused fears of imminent food shortage, but no one knows the cause.
Bibia ayedin omo bad luck nti metimi aka say omo bad luck nti so afi insurance to.
Again, Dr. Baumia is strongly defending his records as vice president, which he says qualifies him to be the next president.
Ejuma Amaye with the 33 policies about Ghana. 33. Omanpenyi dada, not even one. On Bakupre only policy. Bakupre only policy. Not one. India Kayebo footballer. Anka 33-0.
Some people today want to run for president, and so they have quickly pulled themselves back and are washing their hands and behaving as if they were not part of it. All of them, they did inside. When Vice President Baumia was saying, our economic management team, we have Professor Jambafo, we have Alan Chiramatin, we have Honorable Osafo Mafo, we have Ken Oforiata. What a solid team. What a solid team, Elia.
But who exactly was this job for?
Economists here, Nehojo, Onyansafu Oba, Onyansafu Awanamusa, Oh, Mukaso Nyami Ashrayan, yo, Nyami Ashrayan. And I'm a catch him, say, Ghana, ya, Benya, Onya, Safua, one Namusa.
As election day approaches, the fun and punches keep flying. Politics in Ghana is never boring after all. Prince Kwame Kudo guest report for Joy.
So the funny moments every Friday on Joy 99.7 FM, of course, on Joy News. We're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll tell you the air quality here in the Greater Accra region. The warning is that it might be reducing your years on earth by 2. You want to understand why when we come back. Stay right there. This is The Pulse.